G'day everybody, we just watched Max's garden update video this morning and we thought we would do a garden update of our own. So it is the beginning of October here, so we are coming into spring. Last year we had a very cold and damp spring, but this year it has been quite warm. It's forecast 30 degrees today, so lots of growing already and already irrigating. We've got the irrigation going on and I'll show you that in a second. We've got Cameron filming us and he's even going to edit the video for us. Cameron's on school holidays now. Today is actually a public holiday as well, so it's a Monday but it's a public holiday. We're also getting ready for Keith and Vicky visiting us next weekend. Alright, so first of all, I'm going to show you in with the chickens. So we've got rid of all of our roosters now, so we've just got the hens. Although one chicken went broody just before our last rooster went, and she sat on 2 eggs and hatched both of them, but one of the chicks has disappeared, so we've only got the one chick at the moment. Jemima's just feeding the chickens some of her breakfast. Okay, so I think the chick's over here at the moment. We've done a few extra bits in here. So I like to leave the chicken house kind of like this, and any weeding I do, I chuck in here, and the chickens eat all the leaves, and then I rake it up and put it into the compost. I'll show you the compost heap in a minute because that's going really well. Also, a lot of the litter falls out from the bottom of the house, and I rake that out and add that to the compost as well. So this year we've planted a peach tree here. I'm just keeping the chickens off it at the moment, and that's doing quite well. I see that the chicks actually got through to the wrong side of the fence, which is why the mum chicken is not very happy. So the idea of in here now is to build up some of the fruit that they can eat as well as us eat. So we've got boysenberries growing through here. We've got the grapevine coming up here, and then we've planted goji berries. And obviously the peach as well, some of that will fall down. They've got some mint and some calendula that they eat. This is what we thought was a Persian silk tree, but it's actually a black wattle, so it's a native. And that's doing quite well. This was planted as a tiny little seedling. Over here we've got what's called a sylvanberry, which is a blackberry hybrid, which was developed in Victoria. And that one we're going to grow along the fence. It is quite a robust, fast grower. Now, I'll just show you the compost heap now. So the compost heap's going quite well. I did some more welding, which worked out quite well. I just welded up a lid. We've got the current, as in compost inside. Just want to have a look. And then this side I've nearly used it all up, but I will, and then I just sieve it, and I end up with this quite a nice compost. So the compost has been going really well. I'm really happy with the compost we've been getting out, and it's quite an easy system, especially when I just rake off what's here and chuck that in as well. It seems to work quite quickly. So we ordered some of these potato growing bags, which are made of a felt, and we planted potatoes in here. In fact, Mum will point, if you can come over here and look down there. We have one of them sprouting already, so we'll start filling that up, but this is the way of getting more growing space. We've also taken some cuttings of blueberries. So at the moment, because we can't get blueberries here, and all the time I've tried blueberries in the past, I've failed, but I'm going to give it another attempt now. But there seems to be a rust or a disease or something interstate, so we're not shipping any blueberries over here at the moment, so they're not available in the nurseries. So we've taken some cuttings off of friends and we're going to try and grow them, and we've also got some seeds and we're going to try and grow the seeds. Now one thing I wanted to show you, Max, so we saw in your video, Max, that you were growing the capsicums and the chilies in the polytunnel. Now if you were to repot them in bigger pots, you could probably overwinter them. This here, well, doesn't look very happy at the moment, is actually a chili that's on its 3rd year. And we got an abundant crop of it last year, and this is exactly what it started off like. These are also chilies, and I'll show you one in a minute, which we've repotted. Yeah, so despite having to deal with frosts down to about -4, it's still coming back. What they need is warm soil though, so heat mats are really good, and I'll show you the heat mat in a minute that we've been using. When I brought these potato bags, we also got a soil and pH meter. Now, I've never really bothered testing the pH of the soil because stuff has grown, but particularly with growing the blueberries, they like an acidic soil. Anyway, I tested our soil, and some of it is quite alkaline, especially the compost, because I've been adding ash from the fire to it. So you know, at first I tested it and I thought, no way, this must be wrong, it's not working properly. So then I've had a pH testing kit for years and I've never used it, so I thought I'd tested that, and anyway, it got the same results. So yeah, so despite thinking that the soil was probably fairly neutral, it turns out that we are quite an alkaline soil, which now that I know that, makes more sense, because this area was used for car parking, and they put a lot of dolomite as a base for the car park. So some of the garden is covered in the dolomite. So despite it being a freebie, it's actually proved to be quite useful, because now Jemima and I went round and we tested soil all over the garden to find out what the pH is. Okay, so as part of our food forest for the chickens, there's gooseberries along here, which you might have seen in previous videos. We've got a couple of flowers, so we still never actually got any gooseberries off these bushes. But hopefully this year is the year. The goji berries, these are all grown from seed by Jemima and I. This is actually a horseradish as well, which we did harvest last year, and it's come back. So, and the horseradish has been quite delicious. So I'm going to actually plant some more goji berries. That's today's job, because they're doing quite well, and they kind of they'll hopefully scramble up this fence a bit. This little lemon tree, which we moved in front, is much happier now, and has got some flowers, and it's getting a bit of new growth. There's a few. So this is a lime tree. This has been very unhappy. I've had it for years and years and years. We finally moved it around to the back here, and this is its kind of last chance. So I've cut it back, and you see there is some new growth, so that's promising. And then I've just mulched this whole lot with some of the chicken manure.
It's got poo in it too.
Yeah, it's got chicken poo in it too. Lots of nitrogen there. This is a little lemon tree, which is only about 2 years old, and look at the growth of it compared to the others. And this is a elderflower, and Katie's quite excited because this is the first year we're going to have enough flowers to make elderflower cordial, or maybe even elderflower champagne as well. Okay, another tip I'd say, Max, if you are looking at not growing anything for a little while, is plant some fruit trees, because their fruit needs a lot less maintenance than vegetables. Last year we planted little raspberry plants, and these have really shot up this year. I've replanted some, and we've got lots of little ones coming up. But because these are so low maintenance, I'm just going to let these go up this side, and I'll put some beans and peas in this side. Over there we've got a couple of rows of leeks. Now, talking to Mum, she was saying that leeks are really cheap where she is, but leeks are quite expensive here, so growing our own leeks, although they're very slow, I'm hoping we get some leeks out of them. We do like. we don't eat them very often because they're expensive, but we do like them. This here is all garlic. So again, this is the first year of growing garlic in this bed. Pardon?
It's a trail of garlic.
Yes. And then another one, which has been an interesting one, is these, which are called walking onions. Don't break that one, please. And then, but again, these are they're stronger than a spring onion. And you can eat them as a spring onion by just cutting these bits, or you can pull these bits up at the bottom and they're more like a white onion. There's some lemon balm. I'm just using a bit of a ground cover at the moment. I'll pull all that out when we plant. This is quite a pretty calendula here. I kind of leave the calendulas in because they're flowers for during the winter, and we do get a lot of bees and birds still that eat them all. And also, these are all spring onions that have gone to seed, and they have these massive heads. But again, the bees absolutely love them, which is why I've kind of left them. But we will pull these out, and because we've got plenty of them. Now, this is another one of those chilies. So this is one that was in. It's already flowering. So that one I was showing you in the garden, this was like that, and I just potted it, put it inside, and it got a bit of an early start. I'm going to put it in the shade now because it's quite warm. And now it's really happy, and this has already got flowers, and we're only in spring, so that will be fantastic. We'll put that one in the shade as well, please, Jemima. These are basil we grew from seed, aren't they, Jemima? And then here's some kale that we put in, which has just about survived the slugs.
Oh no!
Yeah, we had a lot of slugs, didn't we, Jemima?
Africa.
And the end of some tulips that we planted this year. So where I was talking about growing fruit in the garden, this apricot tree is now 7 years old. But look how it's matured really nicely. It's doing a lot better than the pears and the plums, although they are doing quite well. All they need is no grass around the bottoms and lots of mulch, and they do a lot better. On here, if you look closely, we've got lots and lots of apricots. They're all very green at the moment, but these will be ready for around about Christmas or into January, and they'll make delicious jams. One thing that we seem to have both tried and not been very successful at is the eggplant or aubergines. So I've tried growing them a few times now. And not been very successful, even though we've got a very warm climate here. But again, I sometimes get flowers and sometimes get small fruit. I've got friends that have grown them around here as well, so they do grow around here, but I've not been successful at growing them. And I mean, I will try them again. I actually got a free seed packet with the Diggers Club, which we're a member of. So I will try them again this year, but I'm not holding out too much hope. So again, there's some things that do well and some things that don't seem to do well. Another one that I don't seem to be very good at growing is carrots. But then, considering carrots are only $3 a kilo, it wasn't. Even though I tried to grow purple ones and all these different ones, none of them ended up being that sweet.
I ate one.
You ate some, yeah, which was very good of you, Jemima. But they really weren't worth the hassle. Again, I might try them in a container because I can use some really nice soft potting compost, but it's just not really been worth it. There's a bee right there on the spring onion, and you can see how they just love it. Even the honey eater birds like these spring onions as well, so they kind of hover and peck at them. So here's some seedlings that Jemima and I planted a couple of weeks ago now. We've got Japanese pumpkin, which we saw your big crop of pumpkins. We don't have a lot of room to grow pumpkins, so it's a bit of a challenge, but I'm going to try and grow them behind the trees here. Last year we only got a couple and they weren't very sweet, but these are actually just from a pumpkin that we'd eaten from a greengrocer. But of all the seeds I planted, 4 out of 6 have germinated already. Jap pumpkins are actually very tasty. They're much tastier than butternut, which is what I've grown in the past. But the Jap pumpkins are definitely the tastiest. So if you see Jap pumpkin seeds, they're well worth growing. Okay, Jamal, I'm just going to put these here so that they can see them as well. So here, other ones we're growing. We're trying cucamelons again.
And bok choy flowers.
Yeah, we got bok choy out the
Cucamelons.
front, and
Snapdragons.
yeah, there's some snapdragons there. These ones here are the Thai basil.
Yes.
Yep, so it looks
Bok
very
choy.
much like the bok choy's out the front.
Yep.
And then there's some flowers here as well, and some normal basil. So keep going, and some zucchinis, which we.
Getting cold.
Well, there's a fourth one coming up here, but 3 plants would probably be enough because they are quite prolific. What we'd do is reduce that calendula down. Again, I've only let that calendula grow for the bees.
Well,
So we'll reduce that
one
calendula
naughty
down.
chicken was
And
getting out of the calendula and the stage of the chicken area, yellow, and it's Wednesday.
yes, was it Wednesday? Was it?
Yes.
But yeah, so we'll reduce that and put those. We'll probably grow those zucchinis there again this year. I've got Sokochos, which I saw your video about Sokochos. This is an Australian-made one, and it's very robust. This is about its third year, I think, in, and there's no problem with that. And I've got one out the front, which is probably 6 or 7 years old. So there is quality one. You can get good quality ones. Okay, so I'm not going to take credit for this because this has all been Katie.
Hi.
But here is the next batch of marmalade. Now, one interesting thing, we used to just make big loads, but it turns out you're much better off making the smaller amounts because it sets quicker. So this is enough for this many jars, which is still quite a big batch. And then Katie's also perfecting the sourdough. So this is a loaf of sourdough that she's been making. She's making 2. There's another one in the oven right now. We try and cook them in the middle of the day because you have to cook them at 250 degrees. So at the moment our solar will supply that. So now we're at the front garden. So again, a lot of growth underneath the oak tree. The oak tree is now in full leaf, which has only been in the last couple of weeks. We've got a whole oak forest growing up the side of the tank here. New addition to the bird bath, which was made down in Adelaide, and we've seen birds bathing in it already, so that's quite nice. It's only been in a week or so. I'll just show you the citrus trees over here. So this is a Washington orange, Nasa Valencia orange, and Katie is right now actually making marmalade from the oranges off this tree. You can see some there. We got these ones are actually quite nice eating oranges, but we only had one, and it was delicious, but it was only one. Whereas that one, they're not very nice to eat in, but they make fantastic marmalade. So we're making more marmalade from that one. We're on our 3rd batch of marmalade, and we've probably got 1 more batch left. So that's been really good for the marmalade. We had more tulips come up this year, and this is the Cape Myrtle, which is doing well. Okay, so these were some. Although they still don't look super happy, they are much happier now. They're in pots than they were down there. So this is a little Daphne, and this hadn't done any growing in a year, and since being in the pot, we've got new leaves. So this is a little azalea, and this wasn't happy down there either. But again, since coming up into this pot, it's been much happier. This is a camellia, and then this is another Daphne. I don't know whether it's got some sort of virus, but hopefully being in this pot it will get happier. Then round here we've been planting some plants. This is behind this here, Kim. This is a little lime tree. So if that other one in the back garden doesn't survive, we'll bring it on its replacement already. So I've decided to do it a little bit more in pots because although I've got to water them, I actually quite enjoy the watering process. So I don't mind being out here and watering, but it just means that I can control the soil acidity much easier, and they don't seem to be attacked by the bugs as much. So around here we've got this one coming up here, which is bok choy, and we've got some lettuce in this one. Some more kale. You see this kale hasn't had any problem with bugs because the slugs aren't anywhere near it. And this is very baby spinach at the moment, so this is all going to be spinach. This one is more Thai basil, and these ones are just some very pretty Californian poppies. And this is a pig face that I'm trying to grow from a cutting over there. Alright, I think that's about it for now, but I hope you're all doing well, and we're looking forward to seeing Keith and Vicky next weekend. In fact, not even next weekend, on Friday, so it's Monday today. But yep, lots of love to everybody, and thanks to Cam for filming, and Jemima for making an appearance. You want to say goodbye, Jemima?
Oh, she's gone.
Oh, she's gone. Okay, bye.
Goodbye.